Hello, everyone, and welcome to this edition of 1874 at Home. This is the third one now. We've seen some excellent support on social media, so thank you to you all who've left us feedback on it. And hopefully, week on week now, we can start to improve and it'll get a bit more of a structure to it. Now, this week, obviously, as you can see, we're joined by Kyle Riley, everyone's favourite number 12. Kyle, how are you? How are you doing? What's lockdown been like for you at the moment?
Well, afternoon, Matthew J. Walters, as you like to be known as. Yeah, it's been all right, to be honest. I think it's gone on longer than we all expected. So bits like jobs around the house that you've been fixing have now all been fixed. So it's just now trying to find new things to do. But on the whole, I've been all right.
Now, obviously, this gives you good opportunities. Unfortunately, you weren't able to take part in last season's football. Obviously, you got null and voided, but the season counted, so we can talk about it. But this gives you a good opportunity to talk about everything that you've been through over the last 18 months. It's been a bit of a roller coaster, but you're coming out to a good side of it now. How are you doing at the moment with yourself?
Good for the. I think we'll discuss what happened during this, but for the first time in that 18 months, I've finally see a light now where I've got a goal I can reach where I've got no complications and I've got something that I can at least aim towards for literally, like I say, for the first time in nearly 18 months. So all good at the minute, mate. Thank you.
Yeah, that's excellent news. Now, obviously, we'll touch on that in much more detail later. But from your perspective, just quickly, how disappointed are you for the lads and the whole club that the season was null and voided and we didn't get to take it down into the title race as the season goes on?
It's obviously it's horrible, isn't it? Because obviously I've been a fan this year, so I've tried to see as many games as I can, and I know how hard the lads have worked, and obviously the management and Vicky and the board and all. I know how hard it's been this year and the amount of effort the lads have put in, and to like I watched Wooly's interview last week, and he was very diplomatic about. Obviously, yeah, he had to be, and Goody was obviously the same, but I was a bit more of the stance that it was obviously a bit far too early to null and void it. But like from speaking to the lads, and we've been on Zoom chats about next year, and to be fair, they've handled it really well. I think they've handled it a lot better than I would have done if I was playing, and they've all got the Reds on already for next season, and which, if anything, is a massive positive because they've been that good this year. We can only get better next year, so hopefully they can kick on and go that one step further. But we all knew it was inevitable that we would have won the league this year, but it wasn't to be.
And obviously, you're past in football. You've played academy football at Oldham. You mentioned to me that you played a year in Spain before moving on to Glossop, Winsford 1874. Just describe your background in football from obviously playing as a junior to now moving up to playing for 74.
Yeah, so from a young age, I played for Curzon Ashton from like under 7s all the way through till under 16s, and it was when I was under 16s we played like Burnley and like a town team game. So it was like where I'm from, Tameside. It played Burnley in like just a friendly game. And Burnley, I got like a trial at Burnley, so I signed for them at like under 16 level. Then I was unlucky enough, so I didn't get a YT form. But when I got released from Burnley, Tony Phillips, who's the manager at Oldham, was the manager at Oldham. He's at Burnley now. He said, "Come to us," and I had a trial at Oldham, and then was lucky enough to sign for like youth team forms there, and I played a lot of reserve team football under Lee Duxbury at Oldham, and I always knew that if I wasn't lucky enough to get a pro contract, then I was more than capable of playing against like the men. And I was on holiday. I was on holiday, like a lad's holiday in Magaluf at 18, and I got a phone call. A team in Spain wanted me, and I thought it was one of the lads winding me up because we was obviously on holiday. So I ignored it and just put it down and said no. And then she rang again, and then when I got home, I realised it was like a serious thing. And you do things called like exit trials when you get released at youth team level, and it's like you play a game and all scouts and stuff are there. And this team had just had a scout there and they signed me to go over to play in Spain. So I had like a year over there, which at 18 made me grow up a bit, to be honest. Obviously living away from home, and having to fend for yourself, and probably the best decision I made, to be honest. And then coming back, obviously signed for Glossop, and obviously then went on to Winford and ended up where I am now. But yeah, I've enjoyed it.
So obviously, what was it that made you sign for 74, and what does it mean to you to play for the club?
Well, I remember I left Winford and gone to Glossop in pre-season, and thought it was try to go up a lead and try there with Paul Phillips. And Goody had phoned a few times during pre-season, and I said, like, I've only just got here, like, I want to see pre-season out. And I remember playing, we actually, for Glossop, we played 74, and I had meds in my ear from kick-off constantly. Come and sign for us. Manager wants you to come and sign for us. And then, like, this, from speaking to Goody and Bowen, Goody said he's got a 17-man squad and you want an 18-man squad, you want a small squad, and I was the missing piece. And yeah, said it was one of them where I've spoke to Goody and straight away you just thought, I really want to play. I want to play for him. And I think I signed on the Thursday before the season started on the Saturday. So I remember that first training session, and he absolutely ran me ragged, because I not really had a proper pre-season because I wasn't sure where I was going and what I was doing. But yeah, I love, honestly, like, especially now after what's happened to me, the club, I think more than most, I understand what they've done for me and my family. I could never repay them, to be honest.
Now, obviously, you mentioned him there, but describe your relationship with Meds. You two became very, very close whilst you were playing together. I remember a photo on Twitter of you two before the Leighton game with face masks online. In fact, just describe your relationship with him and how close that you two came whilst you were at the club.
It's to be fair, the bond that the lads have in that change room, we are all very, very close. But in football, you come across people where, for whatever reason, you just strike up that partnership, that click. And I went to it on his stag do in Benidorm and was at his wedding, and obviously with his kids, it's just, I just love him. He's for what he's gone through as a parent, and for the way he is on the pitch and the way he was in the change room, is just, without sounding like I fancy him or anything, he's just a wonderful human being. He's comedy gold as well. He is absolutely he is hilarious. But like I say, he's gone into management now, and that does interest me, because I couldn't imagine him in a changing room I'd be scared of him, to be honest.
So obviously, I think it'd be fair to say that when you joined for the club, at one period, goals were slightly difficult to come by for you. Just describe that period for you as yourself. Obviously, you were prolific at Winsford, scoring a lot of goals for them, especially against us at that time as well. What was it like for you as a player? How did you manage to keep yourself motivated, knowing that you had all the ability in the world to be able to do it, but couldn't quite do it at that time?
It's difficult, really, because obviously as a striker, you don't ever want to go through spells of not scoring goals. But at the same time, I wasn't really playing, so it was not as if I was playing full 90 minutes week in, week out, and I'd gone loads of games without scoring a goal. I knew I was getting 10 minutes here, 15 minutes there, and so if anything, I was probably, like Goody and Bo always say to me, like, you're trying too hard, like, just relax and do the simple things. And when I started to do that, it was only towards the end, before I broke my hand, I had a run of games in the side. But I don't think when I was playing, I was particularly playing very badly. I thought I was contributing well. I'd like to think Scotty enjoyed playing with me, because he seemed to score more than he would do. But it's not like I could, with Scott, you could get to the hour mark of a game, it'd be 0-0 or 1-1, and Scott's not scored and he's missed a few chances or whatever, and I'll think, I'll go and have a quick warm up now, I might be going on in a minute. And then by the time I've sat down with 3-1 up and Scott scored 2, and I just think, can't even have a moan now, because he's just got me going, isn't he? So it's not as if I was obviously I was frustrated, because I wanted to play and I wanted to score and wanted to show what I could do. But I've always been, I think the fans would see, and I think Goody and the lads would know, that the team was always before me. I never once really kicked up a fuss. I like to have a moan at Goody and now and again, but he knew I was always honest with what I was saying, and I don't think I was ever a headache for him.
And obviously, one game you did score in was Silsden. That was a brilliant goal. I remember my best memory of that was when you scored, you came running over, did the boat lift, and then Alan Rydin tried to make his way onto the pitch, so stumbled over the advertising hoardings. Describe what was going through your head when you scored that moment. What was the feeling like for you?
Don't know. I've been asked this a few times, to be honest, but
it's a good question.
Obviously with the boat lift, the riffraff had told me a lot about the culture of it, and I was, being from Manchester, I didn't have a clue, so it was always in the plan to do that celebration. And probably it's like a playwright, I would say.
Yeah.
Before the first day of the choir or the opera, the first night of the opera, you're building it up, and then when it actually happened, it was a bit of relief. But just I've got the clip of it actually, of the goal, and I like to. It's just the reaction of the players around me and the fans, and so it was very special actually, very special.
So what was the thinking behind it? Was it always, obviously we were in a comfortable position by this point, was it always you that was going to take it? When you were standing over the ball, what went through your mind? Because with that, it's a difficult situation, because obviously you've got to be 5 yards, it's an indirect free kick. Yeah. What was your thinking behind it?
I don't know. Well, I know it was 4-0, but I'd like to think I scored the winner. But I don't know. Callum said as soon as it happened, I know Scotty was there and said, "I'm having this, Scott," and he was like, "Yep, go on then." Don't think he would have let me do it if it was 0-0 or 1-0, but I didn't know. I was going to go over it or underneath, but I weren't sure. I was going to try and go underneath, but I know if they didn't jump, so I just thought I'm going to hit this as hard as I can and hope for the best. And I just remember as soon as I hit it, I just peeled off straight away because I knew, like, it was one of them. As soon as you hit it, you know it's going in.
It was just a moment of pure emotion, I think, for everyone seeing the relief from you. I know your teammates as well, and that's the thing you mentioned. Everyone's so close, and everyone in that moment was absolutely loving the fact that you had scored, and what a moment it was. Now, the Silsden game was the last one you played for the club in a bizarre situation, because you broke your hand at the end of that game, going through in a bit of a slide tackle towards trying to take the ball off the keeper. So then after that, you got yourself back and you got yourself back fit, and you warmed up for the Padium game. From that game, just describe what happened.
Well, yeah, like you say, so I literally broke every bone in my hand. I snapped the main bone in the index finger and fractured a few others. And like I say, when I had to have like it recasted 3 or 4 times just to see it was just painful. And every time I've gone back, it was like, oh, this isn't right. Something's not right. And then I've managed to. I still was keeping fit because it was just a broken hand. I just had to hold it up, and then I've come back. It was a Padium game. Was the first one where I was ready to go, and it was Mike Corral's first game actually, because I remember being absolutely livid that he's just come in, started up front, and now I'm on the bench. So I was in Goody's ear, and then it was bizarre. It was just in the warm up. We just keep playing possession, and I remember it clearly. I played a pass, and I've gone to make the run, and all I could describe as is somebody's like ran up to me and levered me one. It just felt like I'd hit a brick wall, and I just started with a slight tickly cough, and I remember suddenly I felt hungover. Is probably the best way I can describe it. I just felt really ill. So then, as the game's going on, like I've been warming up and I've just been like a tickly cough, and I just felt shattered. And I remember saying to Goody, like, I don't feel great, and I'm saying it's not me throwing my toys out the pram at all. Like, I don't want you to think whatever. I just said I don't feel great at all. And then as the game's going on, he's asking me, and I was like, I'll go on, but I don't. And he's looking at me, and I think he kind of could tell something weren't right. And then I've just gone home that day, and I was meant to be at one of my friends' parties, and I've got home at about 7 o'clock, and I woke up at like 5 o'clock the next day. I've just had thought I was having a quick nap and just went to bed. And then from there, that's so obviously over the Christmas period, I was watching one of my friends play football, and I remember I was just, it's not nice, but I was at the game and I was just sick, and it was like all blood, and I just thinking that's obviously not, something's not right here. And it was only when I was at night time, when I was in bed, like trying to sleep, it felt like I was having like a heart attack. It just like all my upper body just felt like I had cramp. So it was like, I think it was a Thursday. So that's obviously from the Saturday game, that's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I got to Thursday, and it was agony. I didn't sleep all night, and I was in pain of keeping the rest of my house up. And I just rang 111 or whatever the number is, and
yeah,
we're on the phone for about half an hour, and they just said, "Stay where you are. We're gonna send an ambulance." And I was like, "What?" Like, I just feel a bit poorly. Like, I don't need that. So I tell you what, like, I live relatively close to the hospital. I'll go myself. And I got there, and they was all waiting for me, and I was thinking, what's going on here? Like, I said, genuinely, I didn't even tell my mum and dad that I'd gone, because they're at work. I've just gone because I obviously at work in the school holidays. I've got in there, and they've done all these tests on me, and I had to stay in. And obviously, a few days later, they told me that I was extremely lucky. I was sat there thinking, can I ring my dad here? Like, I'm gonna have to tell him that what's going on. And then my mum and dad come to the hospital, and he just said, I've got a thing called pulmonary embolism, which is, I've never heard of it before, and this is why it baffled me. It's like a build up of blood, and it like clots, and then it disperses onto different parts of your body. So I just thought, all right, I've got like a blood clot, so what do I do then? And he was like, no, you've got, it's like, I had 16, I think it was, in total. So I had 8 in one lung, 7 in another lung, and a 16 centimetre one, 15 centimetre one in my stomach. So then he said that, so I'm like, oh, right, okay. So then, obviously, my first question with this blood doctor was like, so what do I do, like, with sports and stuff? And he was like talking to me, and then explaining certain situations, and then, but he never answered about the sport. So then I just said, what about like football and that? And he just lost his cool with me. Like, I was a bit taken aback, and he just laid it out there and then that my life's not going to be the same probably again. And I was thinking, but obviously at this time I still feel okay.
Yeah.
But it was bizarre for me. I'm sat there feeling, I just had like a tickly cough, and I'd been sick a little bit of blood. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm all right. And then he showed me like the X-ray of and the another way to describe it. Do you know when you're like in school and when you was a kid and you like with straw and paint?
Oh yeah.
My body was just like that. Like if someone had slapped paint at a black thing, and I was like, and he was pointing, and he just said like, if I would, it's not nice to talk about. It's quite emotional actually, but he said,
yeah,
if I would have gone to sleep the night I went in, the chances of waking up would have been less than 16%. So as soon as he put like a figure on it, kind of like, obviously at that minute I didn't care about football. I didn't care. I was like, really? And then I just, from then on, I've just been on treatment. And but like I say, not once up to that point did I feel. I just felt like I'd had a bit of a tickly cough. That's all. That was all that my symptom was. And then, like I say, from there on, my life changed forever, to be honest.
Yeah. Now you mentioned there that they said that you had a chance of surviving about 16%. Now you said that you felt fine. Like, how much did that take you back? Because that's something that, potentially fatal. How much now do you feel like actually you made the complete right decision to call 111 that day? Because if you hadn't have done that, who knows what could have happened? You must be really taken aback by it all.
Yeah, well, like I said, I didn't feel that bad. My mum and dad and that family in the house didn't even really realise. I just said I feel a bit poorly, and it was only a friend from work who was like, you just need to ring. And I was like, I'll do it tomorrow. And then it was like, no, you need to do it now. And I went, right, I'll do it now. And so it's hard to say. like people say things happen for a reason, but very lucky that I've decided to ring on the day I did, to be honest. But who would have known? But it's not worth thinking about, to be honest. But
No, not at all. Now you mentioned
very lucky.
You mentioned as well that you had 16 clots in total. What was the effect that had on you, and what types of treatment did you have to go through to sort of combat these?
It was bizarre. So from literally being told about it to then going through for treatment, and I had to have, it was like an injection that I had to take every day for like 30 days, but I had to do myself, and it was like a tranquilizer thing that just like stabilize your body or whatever. They all have dead long names, don't they? That I'm not clever enough to try and name them, but it was, as soon as I got told, it was like my body was like, yeah, you're not well, and it straight away. Then I did feel it was strange. So I was having these injections once a day, and they knocked me for 6. As soon as I had one, it was like that was me for the day, done. I think it took about 3 weeks for me to leave my room, just because I couldn't. I just was dead weak. And then once I finished with my tablets, with my injections, I went on to 3 tablets a day. So I had to have one in the morning for whatever reason. I had to have a blood thinner every day with food. So I just had that at dinner time, and then I had a tablet at night time for like my spleen and for the clot in my belly, because obviously it was near my spleen, and something for my gullet as well. But like I say, they all have massive, not long names. But our house was like a pharmacy at points. There was tablets and injections and all sorts everywhere. But like I say, just from overnight, that was me training twice a week, playing on a Saturday. Suddenly, it was a massive bonus if I could stand up out of bed and sit back down in bed.
No, I mean, it's just horrendous to think what you went through. When you really lay it out like that, it really does take it back. It really opened your eyes to something. I mean, before you mentioned it to me, I had no idea what it was. I'd never heard of it, but it's actually something that at first didn't seem so serious, could turn potentially fatal in a matter of days. And it's so lucky that it didn't happen, and you're still here now. Now, you've mentioned to us as a group with the Riff Raff that you've started to come off your medication now. How have you been since you've started to do that?
Yeah, so it's actually a month yesterday. I had a phone call, a consultation with the doctor, like the main man, and he said tests have gone well and how I'm feeling and stuff. And he said, to be honest, like he recommended, I was on a 20 milligram tablet or whatever. His initial recommendation was to half it for 10 for another year. And then obviously when he said that, I've like got a bit upset, and I've spoke to him, like it was a bit like this face-to-face chat, and I was just like,
yeah,
right, okay. But then he said, but his preference would be to try and come off them completely. But it was kind of like a joint decision. I think he was a bit dubious to make the decision himself. So as soon as he said he preferred them, I went, yeah, let's go. Obviously, I've been on them for 18 months, like, so they basically said I've like gone cold turkey. So the first 3 weeks, it was horrible. I was just ill again. Like that, it felt like I was back 18 months previously. It was so strange. But when I spoke to him, he said it's because my body's been so dependent on all these tablets and drugs and whatever, to just say suddenly you're not having them anymore. My body's thinking, what is going on? But last week I've managed to go out and do 4 little jogs, and for the first time in like however long, and I've just bought a bike, picked that up later today. So that's because of Pritch. Pritch is always on his bike in here all the time. So yeah, it's a massive step forward, and it's only a step forward. I can't start thinking, oh, I'm going to be running marathons, I'm going to be doing this. But like I said earlier, it's the first time in God so many months, how many months it's been, that I've actually got something to look forward to and something to grasp onto and kick forward, really.
It is fantastic news that you've now not only are you able to start introducing those sorts of things, but you can set yourself a goal in the future, and it is something bit by bit you can work yourself up towards. Now, I mentioned obviously that some days it'd be an achievement if you go up out of bed and stuff. What effect did it have for that 18-month period on your day-to-day life, not just for yourself, but also your family as well?
Oh yeah, obviously I couldn't work, so my work was I work 2 jobs. So I work in a primary school and I'm like a youth worker at night. Obviously, they both have been absolutely brilliant with me. I can't thank them enough. So I had to have, I think it was like 6 months off work. So obviously financially it wasn't great, but I couldn't do anything anyway. It's a bit like we're in now, like you can't do anything anyway, so it didn't really matter. I know, I think my mum found it a lot harder than my dad did, just because I think she like my dad, like he watches me all over the world playing football, and I think it affected them both, but I could see it more in my mum. I think my dad was being a bit stronger for me because he knew that if I'd seen him a bit upset, then it would get me going again. But I know my mum would make reasons why she. Oh, I remember one time I was really bad, and my mum was worried for me, and she's gone to work and she's come home and gone, oh, I've booked an holiday. I'm meant to be off today, so they sent me home. But it was just a way of she'd gone in and said, I'm not working today. I need to be at home with my son. So I know for them too, it's had a massive. Obviously, it's the sun in it. It's obviously it can't be nice.
No.
But for me, it's obviously physically it was tough, but mentally it was very hard. Obviously, you've gone from going to work every day, playing football with your mates, doing things, to suddenly you're not doing that anymore. You can't do this, you can't do that, and it was a lot for me to try and get my head round. But like I say, with the club, what they've done for not just me, but for like me, I know they spoke to me mum and dad, and before I was coming on here, I said I suspect like some of these questions will come up. Do they have anything to say? And they both they got a bit emotional with that. Like they both what Vicky and Goody and Bo have done for me and my family is honestly like Goody was actually the first person I phoned when I got the news. I was obviously rang him in floods of tears, and I think he kind of expected what was coming. And he said from day one, like, don't worry about anything. I've always had in my head that I was never having to go and look for another club, because Goody and Bo have always said, when you're ready, you're back with me. I don't want you to go anywhere else, which obviously, as a player, if I didn't have that now, I'd be trying to find another club and not having kicked a ball or even ran for 18 months.
Yeah.
It's obviously a massive worry, but I've always known in my head, I've always got somewhere I can at least go and train. Like even Goody, he come to my house and he's had a chat when he came and had a chat with me and said there's other avenues we could try and look down, and I turned him down at the time because obviously it was quite raw, but him and Bo have been brilliant. Like, Bo texts me all the time saying, "Come to it. I hope you're there today. Come this does." I didn't come to a game for a long time because it was quite difficult. And then my first game I did come to was a Prestwich game, so
yeah,
went the best first game I could have come to. But it was just even like coming to that game and seeing Riley 12 on people's shirts. It was like I had to take a step back. It was like can't believe it, to be honest. The way the club have rallied around me, and it is, like I say, it is quite emotional, but it's something that my family we're forever in debt to, honestly.
So I remember speaking to you in the bar at the game at Prestwich just before the game had started, and you were talking to me about some of the stuff that I've done this year for the club. And obviously, I spoke to you about what you're going through, and you could tell that it was really quite raw at the time, and then a lot of uncertainty surrounding it. But now it's so great to see you speaking more freely about it and trying to raise the awareness for it as well, because it's something that not many people know about it. I didn't, you didn't at the time before you got it either. So it's honestly fantastic. I'm sure it's not just for me, but for everyone watching this at the club and other people as well, seeing you back to yourself as well. Now, in terms of your recovery, you've mentioned that you're getting a bike later today. What things can you start doing now to start making those little improvements here and there?
Well, I've for the first time in 18 months, I've got to start watching what I'm eating again. That's been a benefit because I've just ate what I want, because I thought
Yeah.
The excuse was, well, I can't do this, and this is making me feel happy, so I'll do that. But I've, like I say, I've gone on a few jogs and managed to get out of the house. Each one I've gone a little bit further and a little bit quicker. I'm not talking miles and miles; it's just a few kilometres now. But like I say, I'll get on my bike, and hopefully now each week I can bit more and a bit more. And I know we had a Zoom meeting. I think it was not last week, the week before, with all the lads in Goody and Bow, and they talked through pre-season plans and the way it might be slightly different with what's going on. But I think I'm going to be joining in with pre-season, fingers crossed, albeit a slightly filtered one. And like I say, I'll be stupid to put a date where I'll be back for this time, because mentally, if I'm not, I know what I'm like, and it'll knock me again. So at the moment, it's just trying to build a base layer of fitness where I'm comfortable with able to do certain things, and then when I'm like managing to do that consistently, then I'll step it up a bit more.
Now, how good do you think it'll be again? When you can start doing some of those things again, even if it's just like the simple, just passing the ball, even being just around the lads. How good for your mental health do you think it'll be? So you're back in your natural environment more so.
Oh, it's amazing that that was not so much a worry, but when I've been going to games, I've been a bit wary of going into the change room. So don't want to, like, you know what I mean, like going in and we've not been there for so long. But as soon as you're back in there, you're laughing and joking. You get that feeling of like this. That's what I miss the most. Like, obviously playing football is what everybody loves to do, but that the change. I said it when I wrote me a statement for when I had to obviously retire for the time being, and the change room Goody and Bow have built there is genuinely the best change room I've ever been in. I don't think anybody doesn't get on. There's people get at each other, and it is like a family. I know it's a bit cheesy and a bit of a cliche, but it is a big family. And like I say, the lads at this time, especially for me, have been absolutely amazing.
Now, obviously, you've got like a big support base within the fans as well. Obviously, describe how much the support meant to you coming from the fans. Obviously, you had a shirt sent to you with Riley 12 on. Newcastle Benfield away. That was just whilst you broke your hand. We'd all turned up with your face on masks. Just describe what the support means to you.
It's weird for me, to be honest, because like you say before, it's not as if I've come in and I've scored a million goals and I've won loads of trophies and I've done what I've done. But I think for me, it's just amazing to know that people see me for who I am, and when I'm playing, I give my 100%, and it's coming out at the Newcastle game and seeing my faces of. Firstly, I was shocked because obviously it's not nice. My own face isn't nice, never alone hundreds of them. But seeing them all over the ground, and again, it's just things that you look back on, and it's been happy memories where in my dark times and when I've been struggling, we look through and we get the books out. Like, I've got this thing here, like some gifts you've sent me and the shirt, and there isn't any words. You see, I'm struggling. There isn't any words you can say, because it does mean an awful lot to me. Like, and I do thank all of you who've even messaged me, text me, reached out when I've been at the ground to just stop for 5 minutes, had a chat with me. It does mean an awful lot, and like I say, not just for me, but for my mum, my dad. Like, it does mean an awful lot.
Obviously, you mentioned there though that you might not have scored like the goals, etc. But from a fan's perspective, like from mine, is that you want someone playing for your club who puts their all in, no matter what. They play for the badge on the front. That they want to play for the club. They buy into the club, and you've done that massively. That's why everyone has bought into you as well, because you show that passion week in, week out. You're a funny guy. Everyone likes to see you on the pitch and stuff, and everyone was rooting for you during that period. And obviously, seeing you now in this position, it is excellent. So finally, just on on this issue, what do you hope to raise the awareness for from pulmonary embolism? What do you hope to raise the awareness for now?
Is that like I'd like to say, I'd never heard of it, never. people I spoke to, like, really, like, thoughts like it's such a street talk. It's usually in older people, but there is obviously from all the googling and statistics, it is a lot of younger people are getting it. And I know the month of March is the actual blood clot awareness month, so I know each March now I'm going to be doing. Obviously, it got cancelled this year because of obviously what's going on, but I'm going to do like a Wear Red for Riley Day, and going to try and raise some money and get as much publicity for it out there. And I know like all my friends, not just the footy lads, like I've got a close group of friends who have all like knitted into it, and I've got plans and I've got things in progress that I'm hoping can be like an annual thing. But obviously this year it's been scuppered a bit. But like I said, I'm going to try and do a yearly once a month in March, like a Wear Red for Riley Day, and then obviously people hopefully get talking about why you're doing that. And
yeah, absolutely. Now, moving on, thank you for talking about that, though. I think it's important, obviously, for you as a way, so you can openly speak about it on your terms, and hopefully the questions that I asked weren't too much or anything or too intrusive.
Like I said, I know you said to me before this, like, do you want to touch on it? And like I said, a lot of fans have asked me like what's gone on, and you try and explain, and it's hard. It's quite hard to keep saying it over and over again, because like I say, I can't just in a 2-minute conversation everything I've just explained. Then you can't get it all in, and you kind of like sugarcoat it, and people looking at you thinking, oh, is that it? Like, and I think, yeah, well, let's move on. And so I do appreciate. Thank you for letting me explain.
No, not at all. Now, we spoke to Matt Woolley last week, the first time I asked him this, but it seemed to go down well with people, so we'll do it again this week and just see where it goes. What would be your 74 five-a-side team? You can include yourself in it. Now, you mentioned it.
I'll bench me. It'd have to be Tony in goal, wouldn't it? I think he'll be in everyone's five-a-side team, to be honest. Oh God! When Woolley did it last week, he was itching around it for ages, and I thought, but it is a tough question. I'd have to go with Mark Jones, just because he's Mark Jones, isn't it?
God.
Yeah, God, there's nothing else. Lee Jackson, just because I don't know if you noticed or if anyone's seen, he does boot camps.
Does he?
Yeah, I don't know if
he doesn't mention it on his Instagram.
No, he's not mentioned it, but he's very fit, and he also would be great for the team night out after the game. So Jacko's definitely got to be in there. That's 3, 2 more. Sam Hind, another one in the 5-side game. Like Sam Hind, all the lads have been brilliant for me, but Sam Hind especially, like, I'd want to say thank you to him. He knows it. Sam Hind has that knack of, when you're feeling a bit low, he seems to text you or ring you or FaceTime you out of the blue, and you think, how did you know? But I played with Sam at Glossop, and I trust Sam 100% with on and off the pitch. I know. So his fitness and his work rate. So we've got Mark, Jacko, and Sam just run rings, and then I need a striker, but I don't really. Have we got any good ones? Got a striker in it. Not Scott McGowan. Probably the best striker in his history, I would say, without a doubt. Just the ability for him to, like I say, he could be having a quiet game, and then he'd come off the pitch with an hat-trick, and you think, how on earth has he done that?
Yeah.
But it's just his hunger is something you see in training. His people laugh at it, is not like an angry side of him, but I love it. He just wants to win, and he'll do everything to win, and it's something people probably either join in with him and it rallies you, or it scares you away, and then you're not what we need. And he's one of the best strikers, probably. Well, he's the best striker I played with.
I looked through your Twitter, and on your bio it said that you're a panda enthusiast. Enlighten me.
I just absolutely love pandas, mate. I don't know why. I just love them. My mates, my proper mates at home do me stick about that, and I'm just a big fan of pandas, mate. I'm enthusiastic about Pandas.
Fair play. Now, I mentioned to you earlier in the week before we started this, I wanted to hear your review of the 74 squad. I wanted to hear your own review of the squad, so I'll just throw a few names out. We'll start with Tony.
Massive, innit?
Yeah.
I think I've played against him when he was at Cologne. And I just remember from corners, I'm thinking, like, you're already 1-0 down because you're thinking you're not scoring past him. He's unbelievable, and from when he's come in, and I know he's not the loudest of lads, but you can sit and have a chat with him, and he's got good banter. He's a nice lad. He's good.
Sky.
Well, I think I've just said it, and I didn't know. I forgot you were doing this, but we clicked quite well, and I think obviously what Goody and Bowles do differently to what other non-league teams have been at. Like sometimes you train separately to we'll take the strikers off to do something and the defenders off, and instead of all doing the same thing. In pre-season, especially, we got really close because we were doing the same drills, and we struck a bit of a partnership. Like I said before, I broke my hand. I think I played like 6 or 7 games with me and him up front, and we were doing well. We were playing well, scoring goals, and he is probably the best I've played with, to be honest with you.
Just do a couple more. Lee Jackson.
Jacko. He's the only player who plays better when he's hungover. How do you work that out?
I do not know.
He's another one. But at first, it was straight. He didn't pass me the ball for the first 3 weeks I signed because he loved Scotty too much. And we had to have words and say, "What's your issue?" And then we had a night out and we kissed and made up. And now we've never looked back. We speak to each other pretty much every day now.
See, I spoke to Lee Jackson about how the defence all moulded, and he said the same, that it was all sorted over a night out, which was quite remarkable. So it seems that that's just the way forward for everything, really.
Yeah, if you've got an issue, just have a beer and kiss and make up. We never fell out. It was just a case of, obviously, I've come from Winstead and playing against obviously Northwich, and I was the villain, as you say, and I've come and I've ruffled a few feathers when I've played against us, and so I think at first it just took a few weeks for people to realise that I'm now your idiot and not their idiot.
Now, and finally, Callum Gardner.
Oh my God, Callum Gardner. I've known Callum for years, and he's another one. Did you know he played for England?
Does he? See, I'm surprised he left him out of his five-a-side.
Oh yeah, but did you know he made Rooney as well?
Did he?
Yeah, I love Callum. He's the joker of the pack. He's another one, a bit like me. If we weren't playing, he's in Goody's ear, and I like that. He just wants to play. And I've seen him do things on a football pitch that I couldn't even think of trying in training myself. It was ridiculous, some of the things he can do. But he's another one. I think he just needs a good run of games, and you'll see the best of him. I think when he does play a few times and gets in, he's probably one of the most skillful, better players we've got. And yeah, he's a top lad, Callum.
Yeah, that's something he mentioned about to me. My column in the Northwich Guardian this week's interview with Callum, he mentioned that he is a confidence player, and the more that he plays and the more he does, the better that he gets. He said he almost forced it a bit at the start, trying to do an extra piece of skill or an extra touch that he didn't necessarily need to do, and now he's simplified it down and he gets the better results from it. So we'll now move over to the Twitter and Facebook questions. Now it's heavily dominated by the riffraff, so we will go through them. But the first one is from Goody. Why didn't you phone him this week?
Why have we not phoned him?
Yeah.
Well, to be honest, I texted him a few weeks ago, and he took him about 4 days to reply to me. And then we had the Zoom call, and then I did ring him. There's nothing to say to him. I'm not. It's not. I used to ring him every week because I was not happy that I weren't playing. That's what he probably means by that.
Now we've got 3 from Vicky here. What's your favourite goal? What's your favourite game you've been involved in for any club? And what's the best away day?
I'd say the worst away day for me is Padiham. Absolutely hate that place. For obvious reasons, obviously getting ill. My first start for the club, about to walk on the pitch, got called off. So I absolutely hate that place. My favourite game, the Vauxhall game for the club rings a dove. That was a top
God, yeah.
When we went on the big run. If you think looking back at it, we went on that amazing run in the Vars, and then it could have been all over in the round one away at Vauxhall. And so I think from that moment though, it brought us closer as a team. And then the Cavs scoring that goal, and it was like we're on here, because I know Scott was suspended or injured at the time. That was a good game. Don't know about goal. Obviously, the Silsden goal I know it weren't a brilliant goal. It was for the occasion and for the reaction and the fans, and it's something that I would like to say I will cherish and I remember forever. But the Brest away day, don't really know. It's not. Whenever you go away, and I think the Vars, was it Leighton? The Leighton away day. I didn't even play, but the occasion of that and the minute the coach home and things like that is amazing. But as probably when I was at Windsor, we drew with Whitby in the FA Cup 3-3. I scored a couple that day, and to play on a pitch like that and to hold them to a draw was a good away day as well.
Now this one's from Mark Kelly. Do you still practice the boat lift? And I'm going to throw one in there. Can you do the boat lift for us?
No, I don't practice it, and boat lift, it's just one of them, isn't it?
There we go. There it is. There you go, Mark. And here's another one from the Riff Raff. What's your favourite dog breed?
Don't really know, to be honest. A greyhound, is that a dog breed? A fast one.
Yeah.
I'll go with that.
Here's another one from the Riff Raff. Where's Goose?
Who knows?
Who knows?
Where could he be? Could be anywhere, Bruce.
Here is one from Two Bags of Sand. This is an interesting one. Would you rather fight one Scott McGowan-sized duck or 100 duck-sized Scots?
Jeez. No, I wouldn't fancy my chances against one Scott McGowan, never mind 100 of them. Never mind how big they are. I'd have to go for the Scott McGowan-sized duck. Weirdly.
Here's another one from the Riff Raff. Would you rather be able to fly but only at walking speed, or read people's minds but it sounded like Baby Shark?
Oh, see, flying would be amazing, but at walking pace, it's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
But then that song's awful, isn't it? Probably read people's minds.
Well, think about it. If you're going to read people's minds, you're going to be looking. So you can be looking at me now, but in my head, whatever I'm thinking is to the tune of Baby Shark, and that has to go for everyone every day whenever you see them.
That's true. But then I know what I'm like, and I try and show off, saying, "Look, I can fly," and then I'll do it, and people are just like, "All right." No, that is an awful question. Yeah.
And finally, from the Riff Raff once again, they've been busy this week. Would you rather have feet for hands or backwards knees?
There's actually a famous man in Manchester with his backwards knees.
Is there?
Yeah. Feet for hands. No, I'd have to have backwards knees, I think. At least I can put some pants on.
There we go. They're all the key questions that need answering today, and we've got them done. Well, thank you, Kyle, for joining us today. I'm glad we got to speak about some of those issues that you wanted to bring up as well. And doing them on your terms is important, so you can lay them out and you can see the real emotion behind them. But I think I'll speak for everyone in saying that it's excellent to hear that you're making your recovery now, step by step. You're getting yourself better, and I'm sure we all hope that we see you in the green and black shirt soon. Thank you, everyone else, for listening. Please give us your feedback. Give us your feedback once again, whether you liked it, what other topics you want discussing over the next few weeks towards the end of the edition. And we shall see you next weekend.